Okay, we have our piece going here. I have some drums. I have my right-hand piano, left-hand piano, and I created a bass line out of the left-hand piano. Let's listen to what it sounds like all together. Okay, not too bad. I want to give some flavor to this bass line a little bit. And what I want to do is I would like to use some of the rhythmic pattern that I have here in the bass drum. Now, if I was using another piece of software, you might be able to copy out the rhythmic pattern and actually paste it into the bass line. In Soundtrap, it's a little different. What I'm going to do is add a new track, and I'm going to choose guitar and bass. I'm going to choose my instrument, and you can, as I said, preview. I'm going to go to bass, electric bass. I'm just going to use this clean electric bass, and there we are, as I did the last time, and close out and save my work. Every time I do something, save my work. I'm going to go in here to the bass drum part here. And what I'm going to do is I'm highlighting the region by, see how it's purple? I'm going to click on it, it turns dark. And I'm going to copy the region here. And I'm going to click on the track that is the bass line track here and do edit, paste. And now I have, if I double click on now this dark green, it's the same rhythmic pattern as the bass drum, and I'll change the color to make it a little more obvious that we're looking at that bass guitar now as opposed to the bass drum, which is purple. See, purple background. And so here's the bass drum, right? If I click on one, you could hear it. And now the bass guitar. Now you could leave this exactly like this, but the problem is if I look at the notes in my piece, I have a C, the next one is a G, the next one's an A, and the next one is an F. So C, G, A, F. And you can write that down if you want, or try to remember that these are the roots of the 1, 5, 6, 4 progression and figure it out from there. So I want to come in here and make sure that for each one of these measures, so the first measure is C, that's fine. What was the next note? A G, right, to the 5. And I'm going to click and hold and drag them up. And then I'm going to click and hold on these and drag them up. And drag them up to the A. And then the next note was what? Was an F. So now I've changed the notes in this bass to match the notes. And there it is, the blue, those notes. So I can click back and forth to kind of see, did I do it? Did I do it? Good. I'm going to mute this. The old bass, which was just the long sustained notes. And don't forget to save. You can always go back and undo things, but let's make sure we save. Now let's hear what this fancy rhythmic pattern that matches the bass drum sounds like. Not too shabby. Now if I wanted to, I could edit these out, maybe add another rhythmic pattern if I wanted, if I felt like I really wanted to have something maybe on the 4th beat here. I could change that. Let's hear what that sounds like. Good, I'm liking some of this. Maybe I want to edit out some of these rhythms and let the bass drum have some space and maybe give the bass drum. See, now, oh, I'm getting a little rhythmic pattern here. Maybe I want this bass to sustain a little more. Maybe I want to change some of the notes. Could you use more than just the C? Yeah, remember in the left-hand piano, what did we have in the left-hand piano? We had C and G, the root and the 5th of the chord. So if you felt like you wanted to do that and play and move notes around, maybe I'll make this a G and leave this here as an F, as a C. Maybe I'll change the note lengths and make them a little longer. This note is a G, and the 5th above the G would have been a, count up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a D, correct? And if you wanted to change this to a D, you can. Or if you wanted to change it to the low D, you can. And Command Z brings it back so I can make sure I put things exactly where they go. It's snapping to the grid, so I'm just going to leave it there. Let's take a listen to what this little rhythmic pattern sounds like if I change notes. Great, I like that a lot, and I definitely am going to turn this grid off for a second. I'm going to use my cursor to help me out. Take a look here. Turn the grid off. I'm going to use my cursor. I'm going to zoom in. I really would like this to come back down to this D. I really like that. I'm using that scroll bar to help me line things up. I'm going to put my snap to grid back on. I'm going to hit save. Take a listen to this. So you can see now that I've changed some of the rhythmic patterns, I've changed some of the pitches, and now I get a bass line. I'm really liking it. So there are no wrong answers here. If it sounds good to you, that's what you should go for. But these are some tips and tricks on how to make it sound good. Stick with the root. Stick with the root, and the fifth is a possibility for each chord. And this fifth might have been up here at this high D, but I put it down to this low D so you can change octaves and move things around and play with stuff as you like. That's how you can create more flavor in your bass line.